Mountains through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Welcome back. Joining us today is Ferdinand C.S. Oyima Esquire. He is the Secretary of Nigerian Bar Association, Omoko Branch. He is also a Managing Partner, Shield and Creed Attorneys, otherwise known as Ebuaga Chambers. What does Ebuaga Chambers mean, if I may ask?
Okay, good morning.
Good morning. Yes, you're welcome.
And alias for where I come from, Ndoni.
Okay.
Yes, Ndoni is a community in River State, one of the most prominent communities in River State.
Okay. It's a pleasure to have you here, Mr. Ferdinand. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Right into the story for today. About 1,000 lecturers of the Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, has protested non-payment of their salaries, about 5 years of employment. The protesting lecturers said a total of 12 of their colleagues who were employed at the same period have died while waiting to be paid their emoluments. Wielding placards with inscriptions to tell their stories, the lecturers appealed for payment of their salaries, saying that the current economic hardship in the country bites more on them and their families. One of the affected lecturers, Mr. Ibezim Echezona, said, "Our members are dying and we have buried 12 members so far. The last one was this year, and this is someone that we saw last December, and today she is normal, and that is to tell you what we are going through due to non-payment of our salaries for 5 to 6 years now. We do not know those that are holding our salaries. We do not know if it is the federal government or the Ministry of Education, the university," he lamented. Quickly, I'd love to get your thoughts, Barrister Ferdinand, concerning this 5 years to 6 years, withholding salaries. I really don't know what could be the reason for this prolonged period of time, but I'd love to get your thoughts concerning this, please. What do you have to say?
My dear, you see, this is very unfortunate, but this unfortunate development will continue to happen where those who are managers of the affairs of the country are not subject to school in Nigeria and go through what we go through. We cannot expect more from what is just happening, because if you have lecturers and staff of a university staying for so long without being paid, I imagine that they will not, their productivity will be very low.
Yeah.
Some of them, I'm even surprised that they're even still going to school to teach. Now, somebody who has not been paid salary for years, what will be the outcome of that? Can that person actually teach? Will you send your ward or your child to a university where the lecturers are not paid salaries? Obviously not. And who are those who make sure that these things don't happen? They are the people whose children are not schooling in Nigeria. So when you have people who are producers that don't get to use their products, you get this kind of product you get, and it's most unfortunate. So until Nigeria and Nigerians are ready to insist and demand that the managers of state affairs must have their children go through what other children go through, we will continue to have something like this. There will continue to be ASU strike. I was ASU strike before when I was in primary school, and noticed ASU strike when I was university and all of that. And most unfortunately, my children may also come to experience that too.
That's if you want your children to study.
That's the thing. That's the point. So, but we can't have a system where the children, what would they now know about their own country to develop their own country? Because it's not all courses that you have to go and study. There are some courses that requires you to know more about your country. And you can only do that if you stay in your country and learn it. I don't know where Nigeria is going from. We are retrograding every year. There were times in history when we had in history that Indians and other nationals came to Nigeria to study to learn from our schools.
So, yes.
And now the reverse is the case. We're even going to, some of us are even going to Togo, Mali, to go and study. So it's a very unfortunate situation. But I think I will advise those who are lecturers and are going through this kind of situation, most candidly and quite frankly, you don't have to stay and be working and where you're not paid to the point that you have to die. How about leaving the job and doing something?
How about if they do not have any source of livelihood? Imagine it, like you stated, investing years of your life in a particular venture. And then, and you know how civil servants are actually paid.
I agree with you.
Yes, people say when you earn salary, you do not depend on your salary. You should also have another side hustle that you can get money from. So I don't think it would be easy to break out, you know, just like that for the civil servants that were actually not paid.
My dear, I think it is better to be alive than sticking to a place where you have to stay there and you're not able to pay your rent. When I was going through the news, some of the lecturers are facing eviction from their landlords and all of that. I mean, and then in the next morning you take your bag and go to that same place when you're not being paid. So I think within the confines of the labor law is the failure of the government to pay your salary is like a breach of the contracts, because every laborer is entitled to his wage.
Yes.
So while they are entitled to take certain actions to compel the government to pay them, they also have the right to also rescind the appointment to the employment to and go seek.
And in considering the fact that this country is very difficult, the employment level is on the low, you know, do you think it's an actual thing since they have decided to speak up? And secondly, does that mean they have not been speaking up before now? Why now, after 5 years?
The news disclosed part of the reasons was failure to capture them in the IPP system and all of that. But I said, if they have not been paid, they have not been paid. And I think it's the failure of the system. And you see, life, survival first. Because when all the chips are down, you must survive. So the system has completely failed them. For someone that has not been paid salary for 6 years, I don't know what you're doing there again. So while you can fight legally, maybe through the court to compel the government to pay you, because it's not a business that the system of payment did not capture them or whatever. They are providing the job and they are providing services and they are entitled to their pay. Why they can pursue those claims in maybe industrial court, national industrial court, they also owe themselves and their families the duty to survive, duty of survival. So if they can switch into survival mode and look at anything at all that they can legitimately do to eke out a living, you know, why struggling to get paid? Because someone that has not been paid for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years to 6 years, I'm not sure you might be paid in the 7th year, except you do something different. So you staying to do the same thing over and over and expecting different results is what I'm instant defense as madness. So I think instead of remaining there and be dying, because that is what is the concerning aspect of the news, that their members are dying because of this not being paid. And then they are still going to work. Nobody should go to work and then to the extent that you have to be dying because you're not being paid salary and then you're not doing anything about it.
Barrister Ferdinand.
It squarely lies on the box of the Minister of Education and to a large extent the President himself, who was elected to provide and who campaigned to renew the hope of Nigerians by making things different, even though we are yet to see the difference.
Thank you so much for that, Barrister Ferdinand. Still on the protesting issue, we have the Nigerian workers have announced February 4, 2025 as a date to embark on a nationwide protest against the 50% telecommunication services tariff hike in the country. The Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) disclosed this in a statement on Wednesday. This comes as the Nigerian Communications Commission on January 20, 2025 announced the approval for telecom companies to hike services tariffs by 50%. The approval has sparked a wide tide of rejection by Nigerians, including the NLC. In an update to press home their opposition against the telecom tariff hike, the NLC vowed to shut down the country through a nationwide protest. ATN reported that the nationwide protest was agreed on at the ongoing National Administrative Council of the Labour Union. The protest aims at sounding a note of warning to the government that workers would resist the planned hike as it would worsen the poverty level across the country. Recall that NLC had rejected the 50% telecommunications tariff approved by the federal government through the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC. Barrister Ferdinand, I'm aware you are...
They incur debts to produce and give us these services, the telecom services, the data. I mean, the revolution in telecom industry is amazing. We're doing a lot of things. People now stream mobile apps because of the level of advancement that we've seen in the telecom industry. Definitely must be capital intensive and serious investment. So these people are not there to make to just serve it. They're there to make profit. So they're entitled to also reflect the impact of business people who own and manage and run this telecom. The organized private sector, or maybe the NLC, there should have been, so that the NLC, I'm sure they are human beings, play some major roles, like if it's a small, something of a way, by way of subsidy, to subsidize this thing in a way that the increase doesn't have to be this 50%. But 50% is outrageous. The gains made from the wage increment, the minimum wage, has almost been eroded by the cost of transportation and cost of almost everything. I want to add this into on a docket of this hardship in Nigeria. So I think it's too much for the workers. So we I think the denominator here should be the federal government, who I believe who have not actually offered anything to protect their citizens, while they are also trying to make sure that the telecom business continue to blossom. Okay,
you've mentioned the government. Yes. Oftentimes, since this whole telecom or any words from the government, that's why they decided to embark on this strike. Do you think, this protest, I'm sorry, do you think there is a motive from the government to paying off salaries and whatnot, that is why most of this telecom decided to increase their tariff to 50%? Do you think there could be another motive why the federal government have been silent over this?
Well, I wouldn't see it as a motive. I don't see it as government's, the present government's character of being responsive to the plight and being sensitive to the plight of their own citizens. And that's not necessarily must understand on the part of the telecom industry. You must understand the reality.
They are also affected.
Everything has gone up by the policy of the government. Everything has gone up on all sectors of the economy. The telecom industry could never have been isolated from the effects of this crushing hardship that economy. So they are making expenses, and this since you remember how much we used to buy bread in 2023, and bakery owners, you can't tell them to be selling the bread. I also have to. So in fairness to that industry, there is need for them to also augment and make their profit, if not to, so that we continue to enjoy these services that we enjoy, even though it has not been 100%. But I can assure you that the experience we've gotten in the telecom industry is far, if you like, compared to what we have gotten in electricity in the energy sector.
Yes.
And so yes, they have done. Government has tried to say they are deregulating or concessioning the energy sector, the electricity and all that. We'll see how it is. I'm sure, yeah, it's powered by generator. But this telecom industry is where the government appear to have done well by removing that monopoly of government and abandoning or making to do away with having to do away with NITEL, and then allowing these private individuals to put in their money and make profit. And if you don't allow them to making this profit, trust me, the business is going to go down. And when business go down, the services will drop. Nigerians will still suffer it. You will see a situation where you will not be able to make call and all of that. What they do, all this will do to make sure that we continue to enjoy telecom services, data, voice call, and all of that is capital. They have to put in so much money.
So you're in a sense,
they must make the gain.
You're not
to the extent of for
24 hours
for a week. How are you going to do that? Nobody will tell you to.
You listen. A week is a very long period of time. 24 hours.
Okay, so it is impracticable. So nothing. The only person that can actually help out here would have been the government through the NCC. So, like I said, the government is not responsible enough for the industries. They run most of their mass. They buy most of their mass with diesel, and they have to buy this diesel as the same amount. How about government say, okay, we're going to give you this diesel? Government will supply diesel directly, either through an NPC or something, to all the telecom operators, their generators, generating set, and all of that, to see government to come in to see what they can do to cushion the federal and just allowing them to go ahead and increase. Yes, should they be allowed to increase? Yes, they have to increase their tariff. But this could have been prevented if government had come in by way of some kind of subsidy that necessarily may not require them giving them paying subsidy for our calls or our text messages. But giving these people either some form of grant or some in form of a diesel or energy supply to help them run and manage their expenses.
Okay, thank you so much on that, Barrister Ferdinand. Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has tackled the protesting bidders' alleged irregularities in the car auctioning recently held in different locations across the country. This development is coming on the heels of the conclusion of the exercise, which lasted between Monday, January 20 and Monday, January 27, 2025. Upon conclusion, bidders shared screenshots on various social media showing outrageous amounts as bids, leaving room for many of them to back out at some of the deals. The bidding ranged from 1 billion naira to 330 billion naira for mid-range and averagely sophisticated Lexus Jeeps and SUVs. One CIA on X also said, "Why would you want to bid an SUV for 350 billion naira?" I am not so conversant with cars. Is an SUV up to that amount?
I don't think there's any car of that range that should be up to that amount.
Okay.
Well, it's like as being suggested and alleged in the news item you just read. There is absence of transparency, okay, in the whole auctioning thing, and I think the EFCC ought to have been completely removed. There should have been a separate agency of government that should handle the sale of this, not just the what happens to the recovered product. Items from the fraudsters. Okay, that's why I think there may be need to retool or amend the Proceeds of Crime Recovery and Management Act of 2022 to remove the power of how to manage the recovered loot from EFCC and domicile it into another independent agency of government that will fine-tune a better way to manage this recovered loot, because you burdening the EFCC, if I may use that word, the EFCC spokesperson says that it is not them that directly manage the sale, that they gave it to a government registered or recognized auction agency to sell, but it advertised for these cars by themselves.
Did you see the pictures?
I saw the pictures of the cars
from EFCC.
From EFCC. Okay. Now these cars are within the precincts or premises of the EFCC.
Okay.
The EFCC determines the date for the auction and the venue and all that. So you are partly involved. You can't say you don't like to eat pork, but you are using your teeth to divide it for those who want to eat. So you have also that's also eating the pork that you hate so much. I don't think you get my point. You say you are not involved, but you are doing managing almost everything. So if there is any lapses and the speculation that will come from those who have suffered those lapses, you will also be responsible and accountable to those speculations, because if he quacks like a dog, barks like a dog, it certainly might be a dog. So AFCC cannot extricate themselves from the allegation of them trying to use the back door to give these things back to their cronies and all of that. Okay. That would have been, it would have been better if the commission, once they recover loot through the legal and judicial process, they should transfer whatever they recover to another agency and remove their hand. Okay. Let the agency be responsible. After there are also other sister agencies, anti-graft agencies like the ICPC and some other that recover products. And I think too, the military people that also recover stolen crude and all of that too, they should also have an agency where because look at you recover things and you determine what happens to what you recovered. Either you destroy it. You know, there have been allegations. If you go to where they're doing this bunkering, the allegations against the army for how they manage this product that they recovered. Some of them, you hear that some armies sell them, and so that's the same thing. Let there be a law that will forbid those who recover items that are proceeds of crime from managing the recovery. Okay. Let the recovery be given to a separate agency that should design and define a way to sell this, because it doesn't make any sense that somebody in a bidding of this process of this nature is bidding a car that's not even worth 20 million. At that, because it's a car that was been recovered over time, parked in a place that you may need to make some expenses to even bring it back to life. Yeah. And then somebody is quoting 300 million on an RS 350 Lexus. It sounds a phantom, and that can only mean one thing. If actually the thing is something of significant value, maybe it was used by Nanda Zikiwe. So someone want to buy a car that drive it. Let it be that kind of option. But then that would be, I think there should be a system where those who are bidding, there will be some e-wallet or something where you will be required to put in money, your own money in that wallet, where you now bid from that money. So if you put 200 million in that wallet, your money is there. Anything you're buying, you buy from that, so that as soon as the auction, the bell rings and the auction is concluded, your money is deducted from there. So you that is bidding publicly 350 over 300 million for a Jeep, you should have that money so that the process will be, so as soon as the bell rings and then the auction falls on you, they deduct your money. Okay. And if they do that, you see, nobody will be doing this phantom bidding where because you want to outsmart others, you go and bid 1 billion for something you know that is not up to 5 million. So that from back, go and check or ask EFCC. They should provide the receipt of that from those people that bidded, because you know it's an offense. Yes, it's an offense for you to bid what you don't mean to pay. It's a serious offense. Yeah. It's a criminal offense. So that person that bidded over 300 million for an RS 350 Lexus Jeep, let them give us the receipt or provide the receipt. The EFCC should provide the receipt to the public where that person paid that amount of money, because it's government's money, it's our money. So I'll be sure that yes, whoever bid, if that doesn't happen or never happen, you should go and arrest whoever that, because according to the EFCC spokesperson, Dele Oyewelo, he said if such happened, which he did not dismiss that it happened, he said if such happened, it is a case of obvious sabotage. So somebody who is trying to sabotage is actually an offense. Yeah. You should go after, if they can go after those who are paying money, you should go after those who are bidding what they know they don't mean to pay. because once you bid, you are obliged to pay that money, and refusal or failure to pay that money is actually an offense under the law. So that's that. But the alternative way should be, let those who recover, who make recoveries in the name of the government, not be the one to manage what they have recovered. Recover and surrender to somebody or some other authority or agency of government that has the expertise and the competence and training to sell recovered items, be it stolen crude oil, illegally refined products, money, cash recovered from by the EFCC, or cars and items recovered from fraudsters by any of the anti-graft agencies. It should be auctioned or managed by an agency different from the recoverer.
Okay. Thank you so much on that, Ferdinand. I really appreciate your analysis. You actually went deep into this, and we hope that EFCC will actually do what's right and necessary. Well, moving forward, Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, says it will not conduct admissions for the law of the Bachelor of Laws program by the Council of Legal Education for the 2025-2026 education academic session at the universities. The JAMB spokesperson, Dr. Fabian Benjamin, who stated this in a statement on Wednesday, listed the affected universities to include Kwara State University, Malate, Kwara State, Bingham University, Karu Nasarawa State, and Redeemers University, Ede, Osun State. Others are Western Delta University, Ogara, Delta State, Taraba State University, Jalingo, Tarabo, Alike, Ebonyi State, and Nigerian Police Academy, Wudil, Kano State. As a result, JAMB will not approve any admissions for candidates seeking to enroll in the law program at the aforementioned universities for the 2025-2026 academic session. Furthermore, the ban on registration for the law program at the Nigerian Police Academy
at the end of your final year, the highest 50 persons with the highest grade will go to law school. They will wait again the next year, the highest 50, because you cannot send more than 50% from that school. So you now see some universities, I will not mention names. Yeah, you see people after you have graduated in the school, you have to wait for 4 or 5 years for your batch to go to, because your school has graduated over the quota given to them by the Council of Legal Education. So each year they can only send that number 50. If you are 40, your own is 40, but you have a backlog of over 200 that you have trained. You claim you have trained, and they will just be there, unable to go to law school. You have to now sit at home for 1 year, 2 years, 3, all those things that you have learned. You start coming out. By the time you be admitted in law school, you become a problem to the system. You are not, because most of the things that you learn are foundational to what you study in law school have all disappeared from your brain, and then you start becoming a problem to them. They are training you as a lawyer. So I think it may not necessarily be that the school may not be up to standard, but I think the problem may be that the school, because they didn't say they cancelled the accreditation, they stopped them, and I think the possible thing that must have happened, that must have led to this, is what I'm trying to explain. That it may be that they must have admitted so much a number that if they allow them to admit more people, you have people who they will be admitting who will be writing the JAMB. At the end of their 5th year, after they have been admitted, they will stay another 4 or 5 years as a law graduate before going to law school. So to prevent Nigerians, innocent Nigerians, from going to that trap, let them not even write JAMB at all. Let them go to another school that don't have those problems. You should go to another school that does not have the problem and apply. And I think so that is a very proactive measure aimed at securing the future of our young ones who intend to study law.
Well, thank you so much on that, Ferdinand. We will go on a quick break. When we return, we will continue with the rest of the stories. To stay with us.
lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains. Through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Welcome back. People's Democratic Party PDP Board of Trustees on Wednesday said the President Bola Tinubu-led Progressive Congress APC administration is insensitive to the plight of Nigerians. The PDP BOT said the increment in the pump price of fuel, electricity, tariff hike, telecommunication charges, and the worsening economic situation showed that Tinubu's administration was insensitive to Nigerians. In a communique issued at the end of its 79th BOT meeting in Abuja, the party charged Tinubu to discard its anti-people's policies and take steps to revamp the economy. BOT decries the insensitivity of the APC administration towards Nigerians as evident in unjustified multiple taxes and failure to stem the increase in the pump price of fuel, electricity tariffs, and communication charges, with crippling effects on the productive sector and an unbearable rise in cost of living in the country. The BOT insists that the APC administration lacks the required patriotism, competence, as well as the proficient, transparent, and innovative governance team to effectively manage the nation's abundant human and natural resources to benefit our citizens. I'd love to ask you quickly, do you agree with the PDP Board of Trustees that the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has been insensitive to Nigerians?
Well, let's forget about the messenger and follow the message. It is true. It is true that by all anyhow you can look at it, the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been very, very if there's any word, words are insensitive. It has been very, very insensitive to Nigerians. Not necessarily because their policies are harsh, but because they don't seem to be also feeling the heat of what their policies are making our people to go through. You have the fuel subsidy removed and subjecting people to buying fuel and transporting themselves at exorbitant prices. And meanwhile, people, of course, have to, in response to this hardship, how to adjust. We are not showing them. You're not showing them that you are also feeling the hardship with them by way of leadership, by example, and show that austerity, that is required of you as a leader, so that if people are made to go through this pain, let them see their president also not driving too much cars, not living large, not buying private jet and all of that,
having regular foreign trips.
So it is true that the government of this present administration has not been fair to Nigerians and has been sensitive. But again, to the PDP that is saying it is also part of the problem.
I actually wanted to ask, would the PDP do better if they were given the opportunity to rule just as the APC-led administration?
Nigerians will not know until but if you judge them by the antecedent, I'm sure every Nigerian will tell you that the government of Olusegun Obasanjo, 1999 to 2007, Nigeria was far better. He also tell you that the government of Sheikh Musa Yar'Adua from 2007 to 2010, when we lost him, God bless his soul, it's far better than what we inherited under Buhari in 2015. And they will even tell you that the government of former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan is like those are like the El Dorado days of Nigeria. You remember how things, because what it is the visible impact of governance that determine actually how the government is doing, not some imaginary or intangible assessment.
Okay.
It is how much things cost in the market for me today. What is the purchasing power of the money in my account today, if I compare it to yesterday? That actually is all about good governance. But good governance is not about telling me you want to prepare me for tomorrow when I don't know if I'll be alive till that tomorrow. You can make sure that my today is okay while planning for my tomorrow. So the APC government, I don't think there is any way you can compare what APC has given Nigeria from 2015 to this 2025. This is the 10th year of Nigeria expressing APC. We have suffered too much. Okay, but unfortunately the PDP and indeed all the other opposition parties, the political class, appear to be indecisive and not bothered about the governance process and what Nigerians are suffering. Because the PDP today was APC yesterday, and APC today is PDP yesterday. So actually, there's no really, if not, it doesn't even matter the where you were yesterday, where you were before now. What is important if you're where you are now? You should be able to be identified with where you are right now. PDP has failed to identify themselves. That is why the recipient of this nature is coming from the BOT or the political, not the leadership of the party itself, the substantive leadership party being the NWC, because you have the NWC neck deep in the APC government. In fact, there's even an allegation that the APC government is paying by the former presidential candidate of PDP Atiku, that the APC government pays the opposition party some amount of money, 50 million or so, to sustain them. So
they cannot come up
having Nigeria sliding into a one-party state. So the oppositions have not actually gotten it right. It's just that the BOT chair that said this, somebody that we respect, having been a Senate president in Nigeria, and also trying to be one of the voices of reason in the opposition PDP as it stands today. But the PDP as a party, those who are leaders of thoughts in that party have not shown commitment to help change the situation in Nigeria.
Do you think this present administration would at all do it since May 29th, 2023 up till now? I don't know, the changes, Nigerians have complained more than they have praised the present administration. Do you think there will be changes hoping for better days.
That's
because
right.
The president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has promised us that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. We should follow baby steps, just like when babies are trying to walk. We should follow those steps and hope for better days. Even the Vice President Shettima has said the same thing. Are we supposed to keep waiting and be hopeful that it gets better after what we've experienced for this period of time?
This is January 2025. By May, that will be second. That's a half time on administration. And remember when they removed the first subsidy, they told us in 1 year, look, this thing will start coming down. As a matter of fact, when they removed the subsidy, when under Buhari, we were buying fuel at 200 to 50. After they removed the subsidy, the thing went to 500. Nigerians were crying. From 500, it went to 700. Nigerians cried. After 8 months, it went to 800. After 9 months, it went to 900. Then it went to 1,000. It went to 1,002 and all of that. Now we are going to gain. And what is the gain? It came down to 1,000 naira, 1,030 naira. That is the only gain. And before you know it, to start. So, okay, now what are the benefits? Have we had more lights now? Are we now having 24 hours electricity because of the gain from this subsidy? Is that what we're having? Or is the price of gas, cooking gas, come down? Or transportation in Nigeria is now good? Or our roads are now far better now as it was before? Or what exactly? What do they have to show us that this is? You see this thing we told you for that this suffering you suffer. This is the gain. Nothing. It's a good time in the future. So today, 30th day of January 2025 should be a future to 29th day of May 2023. So and this is the future of 2023 that when Tinubu removed the subsidy and say, oh, don't worry, to get better. This is the future of it, and things are even harsher than they were when they removed the subsidy. And there's no evidence that this. It's okay, very soon they will start producing petrol. Very soon NNPC will have refinery. Have we not had refinery? I will not see buying fuel at over 1,000 naira today. So what are the gains actually? So actually, and again to answer your question, if things will get better, of course, evidentially, if it doesn't seem like to get better, I don't know if it will get better. But what would have pushed APC perhaps to have a rethink is if we have had a viral opposition that will make and match the APC government, foot to foot, in terms of providing Nigerians a viable alternative. Now look, we don't have to go through this suffering in another 4 years. The opposition or the opposition parties is doing that. Has shown that it is not an agency that can be trusted by any Nigerian. By themselves, the INEC today has lost its credibility before the eyes of Nigeria. Known that no Nigerian, and most Nigerians are even no longer interested in the electoral system. So INEC, if yes, INEC it lies ill in the mouth of INEC to tell Nigerians what Nigerians should believe. Because as the INEC that said, 2023 election, the result will transmitted online. They made a huge noise out of it. The same people that went to court and say, you don't actually have to post the results online. There is a glitch and not glitch and all of that. And then you now have to use a system that is capable of manipulation to give us the result now declared as what has brought this government. Okay, and there's no. I think, given what the Supreme Court has interpreted to mean that the electronic transmission of result directly from the polling unit to the website is an optional thing, by their own interpretation of the Electoral Act 2022 as it was framed by the lawmakers, I think there's need to go back to that Electoral Act now and amend it to make the transmission of result online electronically as the only means of collating results. If that is done, it will greatly reduce the So it means now that any result declared not from the electoral, not electronically transmitted, will not be countenanced by the court. So that it will no longer be a matter of policy, but a matter of law. No longer a matter of INEC policy, but a matter of what the law has stipulated, that the INEC cannot declare a result except it is uploaded. And when after the conclusion of the election, if you want to count result, let's count it from the polling unit, so that everybody, the man in the Ndoni village.
Did we not count from the polling units in 2023?
Of course you did not. Now, you did not count from the polling unit as source directly or transmitted directly from the polling unit. What they did, or they did a kind of collation that was not transparent, as what happened in Edo State, where figures are capable of being inflated. So they come and give you and produce a sheet, that in that sheet you see that what unit so and so about so and so in so and so village, this is what they got. But they were the one that
wrote it down themselves
based on their own calculation, which could be wrong. But if you have where everybody with your smartphone, you can go to the website and you see the result uploaded directly in real time from when the election was concluded, immediately and simultaneously posted within a particular time, the result will be there. What you see and what I see. So if I calculate the 7 units from so-and-so ward, this Mr. A, party A scored this, party B scored it, it will still be the same in your own. Figures and facts will not lie. But when you don't see these results, all you just see or hear is that in so-and-so ward, party A scores so-and-so, and then you are made to believe it because that's what the coalition agent or coalition officer has put pen down and mutilated. You see that the substratum or the fulcrum of every election is in the vote cast, the actual vote. That people that the election is nothing. It's not cast on. It's not something that is built on the castle. It's something physical. People coming together to make their choice, and then counting these choices in a way that will reflect actually the choices made and the majority by the majority of people. That is the essence of democracy. And until the opposition parties begin now, that you see have more than 2 years to the election
to start sorting that out.
Yes, we should have at least like a window of less than 1 year before the 2027 electoral process to begin. They will start now to push their members in